our runners are going to be dealing with today in this match. And it looks
All right.
like they're off.
Alright, and this match is xapollo versus LVCreed. We're in the winner's side of the bracket. The winner of this best-of-3 match will move forward into the final stage bracket, where the loser will have one more chance to qualify.
Exactly. Let me see. As the runners get into the race, you see xapollo went to Flashman, while LVCreed went to Quickman stage, which tend to be two of the first stages that most runners take. They'll have the chance to get an E-Tank in both of those stages, and you don't really need any items to make them much quicker, just surviving them. So, provided that there's a reasonably easy boss at the end of them, they should be through these stages pretty quick.
Well, here I was kind of hoping the lasers would be randomized and it would be, you know, something else come flying at you and touch you and kill you.
Now, the sprite at the front of the lasers is randomized, and from what I'm told, in earlier versions of the randomizer, the speed of the lasers was actually randomized, so there was the chance that you would literally not be able to get through it without a Flashman's power.
Oh wow, that would make things rather difficult.
Yes, indeed, especially considering that Flashman's power is also randomized in terms of how long it stays active.
Well, we have Crashman, who seems to be fairly weak to the regular Buster shot, as he took 4 points of damage on LVCreed's screen.
Yeah, but it looks like oh, go ahead.
That was Flashman that made an appearance on xapollo's screen?
I wasn't sure if that was Flash, or I didn't get a good look at it. It jumped so high I thought it was quick. But I guess we'll get a chance to confirm, because Creed is going to Flashman now while Apollo's headed to Wood.
Oh, I am definitely guilty of watching LVCreed's boss fight and then glanced over and I thought I saw what I saw. You know. But it looked like both were fairly weak to the Mega Busters. They were taking a good bit of damage from each. Or excuse me, for each boss.
One more thing that can be randomized is the attributes of the of Heatman's weapon. It will only register as Heatman's weapon in terms of weaknesses if it's fully charged, and whether or not you have to actually charge it is one of the things that is randomized. So you could get a supercharged Heatman weapon that will fire without being charged. But it looks like this one needs to be charged, but Apollo's having a little trouble using it in Woodman stage to get through the hot dogs. Now we might get the chance here. It looks like Creed isn't going for it. The crash walls actually also have a random weakness, and sometimes you'll see runners test them there in, at the end of Flashman stage, though that does take a bit of time.
Now, I believe I saw xapollo try to test one while he was falling down through the stage, and it looked like the Mega Buster, or excuse me, the regular Buster was ineffective.
And yeah, we have Flashman and Quickman and Flashman stage. Creed having a little trouble with him, while Apollo makes his way the rest of the way through Woodman stage.
Well, what matters most is that would be the second Robot Master that LVCreed's taken care of, so...
Yep, so it looks like right now Creed might be at a little bit ahead. Though again, he's taken Woodman is a less traditional early stage to take just because it's a little longer. Usually runners will go through Quick or Flash or Bubble or Air before going to Woodman or especially Heatman or Crashman, where you want to have items in order to make it through the stages more quickly.
Now, with the randomized weaknesses, there's no guarantee that you encounter a boss that would be taking damage from the regular Buster Shot, is there?
Yeah, I believe you can. I haven't seen one I don't remember seeing one, but I believe it is possible to get a boss that is Buster immune. Usually, they take at least 1 damage from Buster, but it is possible, I think. And Creed getting the bubble skip, or the bubble clip. The bubble zip. Sorry.
Oh, there's a big difference between a zip and a clip.
Right, I was getting my imp words confused. Getting that bubble zip. The itemless bubble zip. And for a second, we do have both runners in the same stage as Apollo decides to come to bubble, starting off while Creed hopefully is finishing up. We'll see who's waiting behind this door. And Vanilla Bubble Man in Bubble Man stage. Is this even randomized?
I don't know. It looked like Woodman at the end of Woodman in xapollo's last stage, so maybe they forgot to randomize some of the bosses here.
It's possible. Apollo also getting the bubble zip.
Next thing you know, they're gonna get, the bubble and, leaf shield from, each boss here.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's one thing we have to wait until they get into the menus to actually see what weapons they have, since the names of the weapons on the weapon get screens are also randomized, so there's no telling what weapons they actually have until they use them.
So there's no hint by it being the solar shield relating toward perhaps a leaf shield, or maybe the fire, solar heat. I don't know. I'm stretching either way, but hey, the speculation that counts, right?
As far as I know, there's no hint system in place. As an example of one of the random weapons I've seen, Cool Kid Zip was one. And as far as I know, that doesn't actually relate to any of the weapons in the game in any way, unless... Yeah, no.
Oh, well, it was worth a try. And as we see xapollo here taking out Bubble Man. So now that'll be 3 Robot Masters each.
Yep, 3 robos each. Creed is a little bit ahead, being in the middle of a stage, while Apollo's just finishing up one, but there's still a lot of race left to go. Another one of the changes for the randomizer is that those crushers seem to almost always... Actually, I think they always are vulnerable to Buster. At least I know I haven't run into an instance where they weren't vulnerable to Buster, even if it takes a lot of shots.
Well, that would make the stage almost incompletable, because you can't hit them and not fall off. Especially with where they're placed inside the Airman stage there. You almost have to just take a game over, pick a different screen, and go from there.
Yeah, unless they are vulnerable to another weapon. Unless you, yeah, like you said, unless that was your first stage, then you might be in trouble.
Well, looks like chances favoring both of the runners as they're catching boss after boss that are weak to just the regular Buster Shot.
Yeah, so far things seem pretty good for them. I don't think there's been any deaths so far, and especially that Woodman, where that's another very strange boss, because the speed of the leaf shield that Woodman throws can vary, meaning that it can basically be on screen for very little time or can almost constantly be on screen. So it could be either a fairly easy fight like what they got or an almost impossible fight.
Now, would that also be randomized between runners? Like, would the boss behave the same way for both runners?
Yeah, the bosses will behave the same. What they've got the same seeds, so all the randomized elements are randomized, but they're the same across the seed. So that you should see, unless there's something very wrong, you should see the same behavior out of the bosses and the same locations for everything.
Now, xapollo was just used an E-Tank. He was down around... Well, he would have died, given that the amount of damage he took. So it was the right play to finish the level, but this have minor effects going forward where you want another E-Tank and don't have it available? Or can you not really say, oh, well, I know I'm going to need an E-Tank for, you know, Quick Man stage, for example?
Well, absolutely. It's obviously best to hold on to them if you can. The general wisdom... Oh, is that a Metal Man and Metal Man stage too? Wow. Not even random. The general wisdom is to use the E-Tank instead of taking a death, because it'll be quicker to use the E-Tank than to die and have to try to come back. And there are more opportunities. Well, he just skipped an E-Tank there, but there will be further opportunities to get them. There's E-Tanks in the Wily stages, so it just depends on the runner what they end up needing at the time.
Okay, so the item placements...
Oh, go ahead.
So the item placements within the levels is not randomized. Like, the end of the Flash stage, where the drop is, he can pick up that E-Tank there. Ooh, LVCreed taking a death.
Taking a death because of that Flash, man. It only lasted for a moment, and he was expecting it to last a little longer, it looks like, so we could avoid the fan guy, which is a major hurdle in a lot of these platform-heavy sections. Looks like we're going to have a pretty tough Heatman stage here, just getting around. But yeah, the locations of the items are random as well, so they can come at the end of any stage. You can end up with a Heatman stage that hides item 2 in it. You can end up with a Crashman that hides item 1. Those are randomly placed all together as well. This looks like it's going to be a fairly difficult Heatman stage, just because all of the platforming is going to be thrown off by these fan guys all over the place. They really can be one of the toughest challenges in the randomizer, just because their placement is so non-intuitive. But Creed is handling it well, seeing now that he knows that they're there.
Well, we have a Crashman fight on xapollo's side, and he is using the Metal Blade, and it's not very effective. I think he just found out that the Buster Shot is his best chance of doing damage right before he took a death.
Yeah, like I said, that would have been an opportune time to take advantage of that E-Tank, but unfortunately he uses only one in that other fight, and hasn't taken the chance to pick another one up. Oh, we've got Lag Frogs being weak to Crash Bomber though, so that's fortunate.
It's like going LVCreed's going for the zip across.
And getting it, that portion of the room could be quite annoying with those laggy frogs there. It's good to be able to just skip that whole section outright. Fortunately, he had item 3 before he got here. And we'll see how xapollo does in Heatman stage as well, finding that fan guy there.
Yeah, oh no, he took a death in the same spot LVCreed did. That second air generator.
Yeah, it looks like he's either going to have to pause buffer to get across like Creed did, or go a lot slower. Meanwhile, Heatman and Heatman stage. Who made the seed?
Well, Metal Blade seems to be his weakness. That was 4 shots and he was done.
Yeah, that really worked out, finding that Metal Blade weakness so early in the fight. You see a lot of runners, because the bosses are almost always vulnerable to Buster, will just go in with Buster unless they end up in a tight spot or getting into trouble. So it's another one of your choices, just to decide whether or not you're going to actually try to search for a weakness, if that'll be faster or not.
Alright, it looks like xapollo got through this very troll-heavy first half of the stage here. Now with the frogs and Yoku blocks, I'm surprised we don't see item 2 or item 3 coming into play here. Well, seems to have got through just easy enough.
Yeah, it's possible that he doesn't know or forgot that he has item 3. I actually don't remember if he's picked it up. I imagine so, though, because they've been almost the same stages at this point.
Well, let's
We'll have to see
if
if he menus to that other page.
Goes over to that next menu. I'm pretty sure he has it. Now he's trying to find what these crash blocks are weak to. Not bubble. Oh, he only has item 2.
Meanwhile, LVCreed going for Goodwood. Now, if you asked me to explain how Goodwood works, I would not be able to, but he did exactly what he wanted to do there.
Pretty much forget about the stage entirely and warp straight to the boss?
Yep. And Creed actually finding Flashman, or finding the weakness that, finding the boss that Flashman's power, the Flash Stopper is strong against. Wow, sorry, that took me a long time to get out. It's very rare that you see a runner even go for that.
Hey, if the shoe fits, I'd wear it. So now we have LVCreed going for his last boss, Robomaster stage. I believe xapollo is on his 6th boss right now. So early polling would put LVCreed in the lead, but hey, never know what'll happen. Oh no, xapollo2 takes a death against Heatman in this boss fight.
We'll have to see if he finds a weakness, or if he's going to keep sticking with the Buster. Now, Creed doesn't have item 1. It looks like it's probably locked behind Crashman stage. He's going to have some trouble getting through these rooms, because those shrimp will immediately come down and attack him, and he'll get damaged right off of the ladder. So it looks like he tried to use Leaf Shield there. His best bet is probably going to be to try to use Flash Stopper just to get into the room. Or keep going with the Leaf Shield, that's fine as well. Whatever gets you in there. These can be really tough rooms with Shrimp or the Lag Frogs, just because getting into the room is so tough, because you will take damage from that enemy that's right there at the ladder, and it will always knock you back down into the other room, unless you're really quick. He might be a little afraid of that Flash Stopper because it was so quick. and you have to be fast on activating
Now,
it
can you
again, but that
use
might
the
be the
leaf
best.
shield to get up the ladder, or once you activate it, you're stuck in place?
You can climb, but once you push a direction, the leaf shield is gonna fly in that direction. So, and it depends on what the randomization says, because the leaf shield can either be, it can either fire in the direction that you shot it, or it can fire opposite that direction. So sometimes you'll have a leaf shield where you try to shoot it up and it goes down, and vice versa. And that might have been what he was running into there. He might have been trying to shoot it up, and it was going down, or when he tried to climb up, it would go down, and when he shot it up, he would move down the ladder. So it looks like we have a vertically reverse leaf shield. No, it's the problem with using it there. It will stay on you as long as you stand still, but as soon as you go to climb the ladder, one way or the other, it's going to shoot off, and I think that was the problem there.
Oh, I see the problem. You press down, you go down into the stage, the leaf shield shoots up. But you try to go up, the leaf shield shoots down and doesn't really help you all that much.
Exactly.
Brutal. So it'll be interesting to see how xapollo deals with that particular board.
It will be. It would be. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he decides to deal with it. I imagine he might try to go for Flash Stopper earlier, but we'll have to see what it comes down to. Creed skipping that E-Tank, headed straight up towards the Boston Crash Man. Which I'm not sure, but I think is Air. I don't think we've seen Airman yet, right?
No, he might be the last boss.
Yep, Airman in Crashman stage. The Airman can be a pretty tough boss, just because if he's really defensive, like it looks like he is right now, you just don't have a chance to get any shots through. But Creed having a little issue with it. Finishing up what I believe is his last robo and headed into the Wily stages. Less than 23 minutes.
Alright, so the Wily stage bosses are going to be the same.
Right, so you're gonna have Mecha Dragon followed by Pico Pico, followed by Guts Dozer, followed by Boo Bean. The difference is what they are weak to or immune to is going to be different. So the Mecha Dragon, for instance, may or may not be weak to the Quick Boomerang like is in Vanilla. We'll have to see when we get there. Speaking of the Mecha Dragon, we like to play a little game where we guess what color the dragon is going to be. So go ahead and get those guesses in the chat. I'm going to go with orange, as I always do.
Well, I have to dig out the Yu-Gi-Oh! Reference and, you know, Red Eyes Black Dragon.
Red Eyes Black Dragon. I think it's probably going to be Blue Eyes White Dragon in the chat as well.
Oh, Blue Eyes White Dragon's too mainstream. Can't have any of that.
Into Dual Monster Dragons before it was cool.
Fun fact, I used to be really good at that game.
Fun fact, I just really like saying face down in defense mode.
It's a good strategy.
Looks like Apollo's also opting to use the Leaf Shield in that Crashman stage.
He got through the first screen alright. The shrimp that trolls you right on there just decided not to respawn. Just like this stage as well, where LVCreed was getting in trouble with the shrimp just spawning right on top of him over and over again. xapollo seems to have found the secret to not get through without any trouble with the shrimp.
Which is really fortunate, because any of those enemies that spawn infinitely and can fly or appear anywhere. Looks like we have a gray dragon with an orange belly though, so orange-ish, peach-colored belly. But yeah, any of those enemies that can respawn indefinitely. Wait, is that a dragon weak to Buster? Oh, that's really lucky.
What
That's
isn't
really lucky.
weak to Buster? Just
Usually,
everything so far is just like, oh, well, okay, we'll randomize this seed, put every boss into their own stages, and just make them all weak to Buster, too.
I think Kemi-Senin did make the seed, so that might there might be some Buster bias.
Ah, okay. Was this a plando or a rando? Can we really be sure here?
And we've got crabs at the start of Wily 2, which isn't too bad. Crab Shrimp can be really trolly. The Metroids can be really trolly. But fortunately, nothing that our runners haven't been able to deal with so far. Now, I suspect Creed is going to test the crash walls in this stage as he goes to get that E-Tank. Finding that Bubble is the weakness. I thought that Bubble was tinking off of it, but because of the way that Bubble moves sometimes, it can be hard to tell whether or not it's actually hitting or flying off in the wrong direction.
Well, on xapollo's screen, there was a Yoku block that was in the way that might have been blocking the shot.
Right, yep. Back when he was on Heatman stage, yeah.
Because I know he tried to use the bubble to break a Yoku block. And, well, since he didn't have anything to zip with, he had to go through the stage itself. So I'm just, bringing that up because I know xapollo tried the bubble and it, I can only assume, bounced off of the Yoku block.
Yeah, I remember it did look like that's what happened, which had me thinking that Bubble wasn't the weakness, but we just found that it is. So I wonder if that's gonna give him some pause when he tries to actually test all the walls again, because he's definitely gonna want to test them before he gets to Boo Bean.
Well, it might induce a little rage on his side because, I was tricked by the same thing as well. I'm going, what's he switching to Bubble for? We know that's, well, I guess he wouldn't know. I'm going, well, xapollo tried the bubble already. It wasn't effective, so...
Exactly, I was thinking the same thing. Looks like Pico Pico's taking damage from Quick Boomerang. It looks like Quick Boomerang is actually acting fairly normal. Sometimes its trajectory, since it can be random, can be beneficial or detrimental to runners. LVCreed having a little issue with Pico Pico right now. Some runners might have decided to try to search for a weapon that was a little stronger against it, but he's having a little trouble right now, and looks like his ammo's good, so it's gonna keep with it.
Yeah, I think this is one of those, the shoe fits, I'm gonna just wear it. The boomerang, I think you get, well, a lot. No, I'll just leave it at a lot of shots with that boomerang. I think you get 4 shots for each tick on the bar.
Generally speaking, but that's another one of the things that can be randomized in the randomizer, is how much weapon energy each shot actually takes.
Oh, that's very true. I didn't take that into account.
But it worked out for him, and he saves time by not continuing to search for something else stronger against it, so there's nothing wrong with that choice. And Creed headed into, ooh, nice strat that he tried to use with that flash stopper, but it's a little difficult just because the flash stopper is so short.
Yeah, caught the bad news with the flash stopper only lasting, look, 2, maybe 3 seconds there. xapollo on the other side, dumpstering the Mecha Dragon, not even bothering to look at any weapons, just shooting with the Buster and seeing that it does good bits of damage.
Which is good, because some runners, maybe even some runners who are commentating right now, tend to always search for weapons before Buster and would have been really frustrated by a Buster weak dragon. Fortunately, it wasn't Leaf Shield with that reverse Leaf Shield. That would be a pain.
Looks like the bubble is the weakness there for our little bulldozer friend. Of course, when I go on commentary, I go and... what's the name of that guy?
The Gutsdozer.
I'm like, I think it's Gutsdozer, but that's too easy. I gotta be wrong here, right? It's not Gutsdozer, is it? I'm just like... I just malfunctioned for a couple seconds there. I'm like, I can't remember the name.
That's one thing.
Oh, and he skipped right over the bubble. Xapollo's trying to check what weapon. Oh, he went back to the bubble, and there it goes.
Yeah, I can understand him being a little frustrated over that, because like I said, like you, I thought that he had shown it wasn't effective.
Yeah, the only way I would have known it is by LVCreed going through and using it on his screen, because there's no way, if I were in Xapollo's shoe, that I would have thought the bubble would have been what I need to break those crash blocks.
Absolutely. It's almost a guarantee, though, that the runners are gonna take that opportunity to test those blocks, just because, like I said, they don't want to get to Boo Beam and not know what's going to take out the blocks, because they'll probably just die and waste a lot of time that way. Oh wow, so much lag on Apollo's screen right now, with all those screws and the toothpaste dispenser and the bunnies.
LVCreed's screen wasn't looking much better over there, but he dropped out of there pretty quick. Now here's a question in chat. Kinunten, are weapon effects randomized or always like this?
The weapon effects are randomized. So right now we've got a backwards Leaf Shield. Sometimes Leaf Shield will work normally, sometimes it's backwards, sometimes it'll only be backwards vertically, or it'll only be backwards horizontally. Metal Blade, how many you can shoot on screen is randomized, so sometimes you can shoot 3, sometimes you can shoot more, sometimes you can shoot fewer. And the speed that it works with is randomized, so sometimes it'll move really slowly vertically and really quickly horizontally, and that will affect the arc that you can throw it in. So it's, yeah, the weapons can vary. They're not always like this. They're sometimes can be much trollier. And don't even ask me what's going on with Air Shooter, because that can do all sorts of crazy, weird things.
Xapollo found the crash bombs to be effective, but didn't have the weapon energy to continue. Luckily, getting the E-tanks, popped an E-tank, and found that the quick boomerang was the second effective weapon, and able to finish off the stage. Moving on to stage 3 now for Xapollo. Looks like he's about, a wily stage behind at this point, since LVCreed's at the boss.
Yeah, it looked like he found the weakness to the Bull Beam. I had to reset my stream, so I missed what it actually is.
Oh, well, there's a couple more of them, so we'll find out pretty quick. Pause buffering to get through the shot, but still, unfortunately, taking a hit.
Okay, so it looks like it's heat is the weakness for Bull Beam. You can see it's not heat isn't taking as much weapon energy as it normally does, as an example. Sometimes you run into a sea where heat takes almost no weapon energy at all, like Metal Blade or Quick Boomerang.
Well, it looks like, I don't know what you're talking about with that heat wave. It looks like a Metal Blade to me when he's shooting it out. But hey. I guess that's a randomized effect of the heat ray.
Yeah, with the palace and the colors, I'm sure it's... And Creed headed into his refight, so don't expect him to have any trouble here, since we know that most of them were pretty weak against Buster.
Yeah, the weakness to pretty much all of the Robot Masters was Buster Shot. There goes number 2 for Creed.
Now I can go ahead and get your bets in now on whether or not the Wily Machine is going to be weak to Buster. I believe there's the 50-50 chance that Wily Machine is weak to Buster, and if it's weak to Buster in the first phase, it will also be weak to Buster in the second phase.
Now, if there's a non-Buster weakness, will it be randomized between Phase 1 and Phase 2 as to what the actual weakness would be?
I believe it is. The weakness in the first phase doesn't necessarily mean it'll be weak to the same thing in the second. And to help the runners out, there's also a 2 weapon energies in that room to help fill up in case the runners get there and don't have the actual weapon to complete it.
Oh, we have our little boss timeout there with LVCreed activating the flash stop. Now, I'm hoping that's the regular Metal Blade he's using there and not the heat-enhanced Metal Blade.
No, I think that's a standard Metal Blade right there.
A standard Pure 6 brawl against Crashman, and off to what should be the final leg for Creed here.
Okay, so Creed found that the Wily Machine was weak to Buster, and still decided to take that weapon energy, preparing for the alien, hoping to save a little time in the next stage instead of having to fill up in that stage. So that's an interesting choice. A little safety they decided to take there. Meanwhile, Apollo's going into trying to finish up Boo Beam and Wily 4. While Creed takes the long, solemn, quiet walk to the alien. We also like to try to guess what color the alien's going to be. I'm going to go with turquoise, actually, for the alien.
I am going to go green.
See a couple of purples, a red, a gray, a blue, pink. And I see a guess for Buster weakness in chat as well. I'm hoping that it's not Buster. No Buster, no Bubble.
Ooh, looks like the correct answer is orange today for game 1 here.
And super effective weak against Air Shooter. Creed finishes up. With an official SRL time of 39 minutes 45 seconds, LVCreed finishes in first place for this first match. GG.
All right, so now it's on to xapollo to finish out here. A rather interesting path. If you shoot the bubble from the platform above, won't it go down the wall? Or do they go up the wall with the way it's been behaving?
It looks like it. It looks like it bounces up, attaches to the wall, and then slides down the wall. I don't know. Bubba does some really bizarre things in the randomizer.
I guess at the end of the day, all that matters is he's been able to finish the level, and now it's time for the Buster Battle refights here.
I might be showing my my bias. I'm a little not upset, a little disappointed maybe that Apollo didn't win this match. Just because I may or may not still be a little bitter. LVCreed being the person who sent me to the losers bracket.
Come on now, as a commentator, you can never be biased like that. At least not on screen. Can't have any of that. Come on now. We're gonna have to replace you out for game 2.
I'm still gonna call a fair game.
I know you'll be going with the big little fist pump when xapollo takes game 2 and forces a game 3.
Well, I'll always be excited about a game 3 because that means we get more Mega Man Randomizer to commentate and watch. So I'm obviously pulling for Apollo in the next game. I always want a game 3.
Reading chat here and getting a little laugh here. I think they're having a go at you for, you know, being a little salty that one of the people may have taken you out here.
Okay. Okay, looks like Apollo's audio was has been cleared, and we can actually listen in on his game now. Yeah, I can't be too upset. I still got race PB, so I'm pleased with the tournament so far.
Well, that's good. I mean, hey, you know, there's always the next match. You win the next one, move on to the final bracket round. Might even have a chance to run it back. You never know.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, xapollo found a vanilla weakness for Heatman. It's not using that metal blade.
MadMat 895. Thank you, Konami, for such a great game. Maybe we could find the error in that statement.
He's talking about on LVCreed's screen. That's another one of the things that's randomized in the randomizer is the the company that produced the game. It's not always Capcom. That's one of, I think, 3 things that are randomized about the seed and that are outside of the actual game. It's the country of origin, the story that actually plays before the camera pans up the skyscraper, and the company that is presented at the end.
Well, I was pretty sure the story was from Super Mario Brothers 3 at the beginning of the Mega Man. The attract screen, as I believe it's referred to. But I think I was a little preferential toward Jalico. Made Bases Loaded 2, one of my favorite games for my Nintendo way back in the day.
I know I've played Bases Loaded, but I didn't own it. It was over a friend's house.
I think I'm perhaps being corrected in chat and saying it might be Super Mario World and not Super Mario Bros. 3, where the attract mode story was from. xapollo's able to find the weakness pretty quickly, although he's going to run out of ammunition.
Oh, that is awful. So he's going to have to take the death and fill up. Fortunately, there's 2 weapon energy tanks here at the beginning that he can fill up with, and so he won't have to game over.
I think you're going to need to be the arbiter here on the official color of the alien. I say it's orange. Chat says it's red.
It's definitely not red.
I mean, I said I was hoping for green, so I'm obviously wrong.
Yeah, no, that is definitely orange. I know my reds, and that's no red. And GG to xapollo2, finishing with an official SRL time of 47 minutes and 2 seconds.
Alright, so that'll be it for game 1 here. LVCreed taking that first game. I think now it's just a matter of seeing if anybody needs a break, and hopefully we'll head right into game 2.
Yeah, it looks like they're getting their seed ready, and that sounds gross every time. Getting their seed ready and about to get ready for the rematch, or for the second match. So you should see the runners start up that seed, and we'll be getting into match 2 or game 2. I don't know which one is bigger. Game 2? Is it match 2 or game 2?
It would be game 2 of the match, as you need to win 2 games to win the match.
Got it. That and the difference between rows and columns always confuses me.
Uh-oh. I can't help you with that one. But what I can help you with is if you want it to be 2 matches to win the game, we could do that too.
So they'd have to win 2 matches to win a match, and then 2 matches to win the game, so 4 games to win the game?
Exactly. Yes.
I'm with it. That just means more Mega Man.
Exactly. I figured, you would be down with that. So, But no, this is a best of 3 games, so winning 2 games will win them the match, and the winner of this particular match will be our first entrant into the final bracket stage, and the loser will unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, have to go through the loser's bracket and win 1 more match in the loser's bracket so that the loser of this race will not be out of the tournament entirely. So there is that consolation to look forward to if you happen to be the loser of this particular match.
Absolutely right. So one good thing is every participant is guaranteed to play at least 4 games in the tournament. You got, even if you lose all of your games, you're going to at least get to get into 2 matches and play 4 games. By the way, I just hit the command in chat to give a follow to both these runners. It's not easy to come out here and to jump into this game. I'm not sure how long they've both been running. No, Creed's been running the randomizers for a while, but it's not easy to hop into this and to hop into the tournament and compete on this level. So they're definitely deserving of a follow.
I'm so sorry. I saw for use in Kazakhstan and just started laughing uncontrollably and had to flip my mic up so that it didn't transfer over and you get to hear how ridiculous my laugh was.
The runners are about to be off in just a moment. On screen, the stream catches up. We can tell for certain that Apollo is not playing a recording, as his frames are being counted on screen with no movie to verify.
Now this one I do know. This is Dragon Warrior. Another one of a very short list of games that if I were stranded on an island and you said you have to play this game, I'm all down for being abandoned on my little island with some Dragon Warrior, that's for sure.
Oh, it's interesting. I'm not familiar with it. Looks like we've got our runners going to the same stage as they favored before, with Apollo headed to Flash and Creed going to Quick Mail stage. We know that the Crash blocks are not weak to Buster.
LVCreed picking up an energy tank on his way down, and ooh, you barely see those screws coming up from the ground there. Ooh, ouch. This is not a very polite board for LVCreed here. A lot of lag. A lot of just stuff. Ow.
Yeah, screws and the frogs and the toothpaste dispensers makes for a rough room anyway. Anytime you see it. But he makes it through and keeps going down through the second Crash Beams section.
Quick Beams. This is Quick Man's
Quick
stage.
Beams. What did I say?
Man.
Alright, Crash Man stage goes the other way. The boss that I reference is also random.
Now, Crashman may well be the boss of this stage, but, you know, going in, you know, this is property of Quickman here. I don't know if he's too thrilled about you kicking him out of his own stage like that.
Oh, use the...
Oh, he might clutch this one out. Oh, he got him! Didn't use the E-Tank. Well done. Fantastic.
Had me worried there, I must say. So both of our runners have their first stages down. And we've got our first item. Creed's got item 2.
Now, picking up an early item like that, would you change the way you go through the stages, or do you basically say, all right, I'm just going to go through in this very specific order, and that's that?
For me personally, I usually stick to my order, just because it's what I'm used to, and I know... Oh, nice. And I know that I try to do the stages where I won't need anything first, just because that maximizes the things that... my chances to get the things for the other stages. So I tend to stick to my writing.
Okay, I mean, as a runner, I figure, it'd be a good question to ask because, would it change the route, seeing that you get the item 2 so early? Would you go for, say, Heatman's stage, knowing that you can just use the item 2 to get across the bridge instead of doing something else? As I say that, xapollo unfortunately looked like he hit a spike and took a death.
Yeah, I think he missed the bubble zip and just had some trouble navigating that room. Now, I know the Creed is going to, if he can do it, he will do the Zip and Heatman stage, so he's waiting for item 3 to go along with item 2 before he goes to Heatman, even if he's going to change his routing, which I doubt he will. For me, because I'm not that pro, I tend to almost always leave Crash and Heat for the last stages, because I don't know all of the zips. So I just am trying to have item 1 for Crash and item 2 for Heat. Oh no, another death from the Flyboy on Apollo's screen.
Oh, and it sent him all the way back. That's unfortunate. LVCreed taking care of his second boss, which we knew was Airman, as xapollo has already defeated that stage as well.
Yeah, that puts Creed ahead now with 2 stages down versus Apollo's 1.5. He unfortunately didn't make it to the boss door, which would be the next checkpoint. But we do have both runners on the same stage for a moment.
Oh, if LVCreed has as much trouble as Apollo here, and looks like he does, he's just taken a death there, unfortunately. Apollo could make up time where he may get out of this stage a lot quicker.
Unfortunately, Apollo's taking a game over while you were saying that, though. We'll see if he decides to. No, he's going to go on to a different stage. Yeah, those crabs can be tough. You know where they're going to fall. There's going to be one that comes down around in front of you and one that comes down around behind you. And it can only be 2 on screen at a time. But when you're going through a stage like that, just trying to get to the end of it, you can kind of forget that and just try to get through it, and they'll spawn right in your jump path. So that's tough to see.
Yeah, I know. Commentator curse. Blame me. I'm taking a beating here in Twitch chat. No sooner that I say that, Apollo can get out of the stage, he goes and takes that death, game overs, and, well, he did get out of the stage, so,
I suppose that is one way to get out of the stage.
Not exactly, I think, the way he would have liked to have gotten out of the stage, but LVCreed, using his item 2 to get through the section where xapollo had taken the game over, and now he's on to the Crashman fight, who is, well, surprisingly weak to Buster.
Seth, yeah. Taking out Flashman pretty easily. Meanwhile, Apollo making his way through Woodman stage. I think that's so that's 3 stages for Creed, and it just goes to show one of the advantages of finding that item early.
Now, I'm almost interested to see, if Apollo just kind of overlooked Quickman's stage. Because LVCreed started there both races. xapollo had started...
Oh,
no. Hello!
Fan guys on Airman stage, so they're on the right stage at least.
Their location could be slightly more convenient, though. That was mid-jump spawns in and just says, no, you're not making this jump. LVCreed with a nice pause buffer to offset being pushed back.
Suppose we can mention the pause buffer. When you pause while you're falling, it resets your downward momentum. So it's basically as if you just started to fall again. You start accelerating again from 0. So by pause buffering, you actually can extend the distance of your jump and how long you're suspended in the air, as opposed to just regular jumping.
Now, in other news, we have xapollo here taking down Metal Man in the end of Woodman stage, so finishing his second boss. Doesn't seem to have picked up any of the numbered items yet.
It looks like he's going to take on Bubble Man stage again. Hopefully he'll have a little better luck this time. Might need to just take his time a little bit.
Alright, I'm definitely down with the audio here. This is one of my favorite Mega Man tracks.
Yeah, I never know how popular of a choice it is. I'm always partial to Flashman's music.
No, it's just kind of one of those pieces of music that you're like into the game. You're going like, okay, it's the Wily board, and it just kind of gets you all pumped up. And it looks like we're going for a. Oh, it looks like he got the zip that time and skipped part of the troublesome part of the stage.
Yeah, at least he skipped the part where he took that unfortunate death the first time, the first one.
And while I was watching xapollo, it looked like LVCreed had finished off another boss. Although I unfortunately don't know what it was, as I was not watching his side of the screen.
Yeah, we'll have to re-up again when he gets back to the boss selection screen. I think he's at 5 Robot Masters down at this point.
Oh, xapollo may need to use an energy tank. Yep, and there he goes.
Yeah, Flashman can have some strange interactions, especially when he's got those water physics going on. Oh, and I didn't notice the shrimp are immune to Buster, it looks like. That is truly horrifying.
Well, hopefully they don't show up where they did last time and make, what was that, Crashman's stage just a nightmare. Hopefully they've made their 2 appearances in Quickman and Metal Man stage and just say, no, we don't want to show up anymore. Thank you very much.
Yeah, hopefully they just take a break for the rest of the game, to be honest.
Chat coming in with some good knowledge here, saying LVCreed take out Heatman at the end of Air stage.
Yep, that's absolutely right. Thank you, chat. Question in the chat, are items 2 and 3 also randomized? Their properties, how you use them, are not randomized, but their location is. So they can come at the end of any stage. You don't know until you happen to pick them up when you're going to get them. But they will behave like normal. Unlike item 1, which can be static, or move way too fast, or move very slowly.
Oh wow, LVCreed just hit the Hail Mary. He's about to take a death and get out of the stage because every weapon he used was ineffective against Woodman at the end of Metal Man stage. And then he switched to the Metal Blade. And that just absolutely dumpstered Woodman.
Looks like he's taking a bit of time to decide what stage to go to there before deciding on Heatman stage.
And a clarification, that was the 5th Robot Master LVCreed had defeated. I think previously you had said that he had already defeated 5, but that was his 4th. Just so we can all keep track of where both runners are in relation to each other.
Thank you. Looked like Creed had a fairly kind, oh no, another death for Apollo. Looks like Creed had a fairly kind, Heatman stage. Still doesn't have, item 3.
So
make
we
his way
won't be
through.
able to see a zip here, unfortunately.
And those shrimps taking a lot of hits to get through. You might have to, might want to try a different weapon.
Now let's see. Was that the 4th boss for Apollo?
I think so. Yep. Yep.
Okay, so now Creed's about a stage and a half ahead, roughly, of Apollo right now.
Yep. Looks like he's oh, that was interesting. He picked up that 1-up on the way over with item 2. I didn't even know that was a thing you could do.
If you catch it low enough, you can actually catch that head and pick up the 1-up. It's just not something I think anybody in their right mind would really try to do. But, you know, hey, it's Randomizer. Stuff happens.
Exactly. Looks like, ironically placed Bubble Man at the end of Heatman stage, and Creed having a little issue taking him out with, I think, was that Quick Boomerang? Oh no, that was something else.
Crash Bomb? I just looked over at LVCreed's screen. I'm going, oh, he's fighting a boss, and then the boss just disappeared.
I think that was, might have been Air Shooter. Because either way, it was very effective. Creed now making his way into Woodman stage, while Apollo follows him through Heatman. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Having a little trouble with those shrimp.
Oh, that spawn point is absolutely gross. Oh, mistiming the jump.
That is brutal. You hate to see that. It also looked like supercharged heat that Creed was just using. He's trying to find something to get past these hot dogs. Looks like crash bombs are going to be the way to go. Because everything else was tinking off.
Yeah, one good crash bomb will get rid of them. Oh, the explosion not close enough to hit. There it goes. Oh no, Apollo took another game over.
Yeah, it seems to be having a bit of trouble here in this in Heatman stage, in that second room.
Now, I couldn't begin to get into the mind of somebody running the game. Hopefully you could help me out with a little speculation here. Do you think, you know, being down a game that you kind of try to, you know, I guess just, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm sorry. I'm, like, trying to think of what I want to say. I want to think of the perfect word, and it's just not showing up. It's like, you know, kind of try too hard and, you know, do something that wouldn't normally, you know, kind of overextend yourself?
I think it depends on the runner. Like, some runners will, if they know they're behind or they think they're behind, or if they're behind in a match, or a game of a match, I should say, they will take more chances than they would normally take in the hopes that that'll make the difference. Oh, find a crash bomber. It's the weakness for the shrimp and taking another death. Poor Apollo. I know for me, what I do is I tend to basically... oh, it looks like he's going to game over to try to get out of the stage. I try to take more safeties and hope that my opponent dies.
Uh-oh. He's not moving. I sure hope he continues on here.
Let's see. Let's take a look in the IRC. He's typing in the IRC. I think he was just expressing some frustration. It looks like he's going to continue on.
Well, after what he went through in the Airman stage and this stage here, I think I may be looking for a replacement controller, because mine's almost certainly going to be embedded in the wall.
I mean, I have to say, I've seen trollier stages than this. We have, say, shrimp and or roosters. The chickens in the stage, it can be really tough, especially if they're not particularly weak to anything that you happen to have on you.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
Running out of
what?
item 2. Now, is tilt a factor here? I mean, do you just get kind of just tilted out of your mind at some point where you just, you know, lose it and, you know...
Yeah, that can happen, and I'm hoping that that's not what's happening here. Obviously, he's a bit frustrated by this stage in particular. I don't know if I... would do what he's doing and continue with it. I might have gone to a different stage just to kind of clear my mind a bit, if that makes sense.
You know, I would have been trying for the try to farm the shrimp up to get some item 2 energy and just take the item 2 across. I mean,
yeah, that's not a bad idea.
There doesn't be any real good solution here for xapollo, because you're either gonna, you know, use up time to intentionally game over to get out of the stage, or use up time to farm up item energy.
Yeah, fortunately he's made it through that last room, and we'll be into the boss shortly, and hopefully you'll be able to get through this without too much trouble. It is a tough situation when you find yourself feeling like you're stuck there.
Now, LVCreed looked like it was Quickman at the end of Crashman stage, and, well, surprise, surprise, weak to the Buster Shot.
And Creed is headed into the Wily stages at about 22 minutes. Apollo finally getting done with Heatman stage, and is going to be moving on to, I think, his 6th stage?
Might be his 5th, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, he did spend a good amount of time there. Well, I guess we'll see soon enough. And at least he picks up his item 3 as a consolation prize. Yeah.
Yep, you're right, his 5th stage.
So unfortunately, he's significantly behind at this point. 3 stages behind, while LVCreed is on Wily 1 here.
Now, like I say, it's never over till it's over. to use the sports cliche, and anything can happen in these Wily stages if Apollo happens to have a pretty good last 3 stages and Creed has a particularly tough early Wily stage game, then it could turn around.
Oh, absolutely. It's, well, like you said, it's never over until you see the dot done. Take an unfortunate fall against a dragon. I could think of a couple things that can just kind of go wrong, and, well, I don't think any one in particular is going to get in LVCreed's way, but maybe he finds something that just absolutely tilts him off the face of the earth, and next thing you know, we're starting Game 3 in 15 minutes.
I can say that... Oh, I didn't even notice that that would affect what was going on a bit there. Item 1 is stationary, so it's basically zipless. It's non-zippable. But yeah, I know one of the things that tilts me the most is taking a fall in the Mecha Dragon. Oh, by the way, what color is the dragon?
Well, I'm sticking with my Red Eyes Black Dragon.
We know I go hard for orange. I'll call it. That looks like orange to me.
I think you waited until the dragon actually showed up to call it there. Call nonsense and shenanigans on you.
I'm on record as always going for orange. And another Buster Weak Dragon.
So that was a quick ending.
I see further votes for orange in the chat.
So now we're on to Wily Stage 2 for LVCreed here, as xapollo takes on Woodman at the end of the Metal Man stage.
Yeah, if Creed gets past... Oh, taking another unfortunate death. Does he... And that's a game over. Oh, that is rough. I was thinking that he might have wanted to pick up that extra life in Metal Man stage, but he went past it.
Well, did he have an energy tank left? I do not remember. So I know LVCreed, just as he's now opened his item screen, we see that he has an energy tank and about to pick up a second.
And is that bubble again as the weakness for the crash walls?
It certainly looked like it. And if I recall correctly, it was Airman weapon that was used by LVCreed, according to chat, to exploit the weakness. And that is a good question from chat. Who rolled this seed? Because they've forgot to randomize the crash block weakness.
Yeah, I think it was a certain Buster-only runner.
Oh, well. Now we know for next time. Don't let them roll the seeds here.
Oh, nice! That is the best Pico. For most of it, you can just stand there and wait for him to run into you if you want to. A Leaf Shield, weak Pico. That is a runner's dream.
Oh, coffee break time. In about 45 seconds here of just not much of anything. Oh, just railroad.
Creed is showing off because he knows to dodge, and he's just not because he doesn't have to. Wow, what a seed! I was just gonna say the two biggest tilting factors for me in the randomizer are usually falling to the Mecha Dragon and failing to find a weakness that I can use in Pico, and Creed just got through both of those with the easiest scenarios possible. A Buster Weak Dragon and a Leaf Shield Weak Pico. I'm gonna have to
Apollo
download
finishing
or
off Metal
generate
Man
the seed my own.
And he did use an energy tank there, just kind of brute forcing his way through. I don't know if he picked that up during the stage or if he had it from before, but, you know, maybe that game over could have been avoided. I'm not entirely sure. LVCreed testing out the flash stopper, and we see it doesn't last much more than 3 seconds again.
Oh, you're too far down. Oh no. Apollo finding that fan guy in Airman stage. No, Kami-san, and Buster Pico is not better than Leaf Shield Pico.
Oh no. This
Let's
might
see what
be
Gustos is going to be weak to.
Pause buffer. There you go. Made the jump that time.
Nice.
Metal Blade for Gutstozer, it looks like.
That is a good unfortunate weakness. As LVCreed moves on to Wily 4, and we're gonna find out what color hell is today.
Alright, so we taking any bets on this, or we're gonna wait until the alien for the last round of betting? Assuming that there's no Game 3.
Let's see, we got, looks like Mustard Hell right now. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen to Boo Beam. The alien, I'm gonna stick with turquoise, so I think that's gonna be my standard alien color.
Alright, well, I always advocate going green, so, you know, hey.
Our environment appreciates it.
No, he's not trying any kind. Oh, he did attempt.
Nice.
Well done on that.
It looks like he's gonna stop and pick up this E-tank as well.
Now, is there any kind of troll hole? Well, it looks like he just jumped through a troll hole there between him and the energy tank.
Yeah. So on this stage, the holes in the ground, the invisible holes in the ground, are random for the first 2 rooms that they appear in. So over the spikes and in the room before that, oh sorry, I went to gesture and took my hand off the button. Where they can be is randomized, and but in that last room where the E-tank is, it's always going to be in the same place.
Okay.
We see Apollo going through the lag-filled first stage of Crash Man. Meanwhile, Creed doesn't have any enemies to damage boost off of in these Wily 4 rooms.
Oh, nice pause buffer, though, to get around that area.
And now, I don't remember from when Creed went through Crash Man stage, but I think usually whatever's in that first room will also appear in this first room here. So he's got to kill those frogs, or he's gonna have a long time to spend in this room with all the lag.
It might help him out, you know, take a breath or two and just kind of try to recover if there's any kind of tilt going through still, you know. Not that I'd be too happy about it, but the crash bomb seems to be getting rid of the frogs.
Now, Creed's screen, you saw him doing, he checked Leaf Shield and Metal Blade before moving around any of the crash walls, finding that Buster is actually the weakness for Boo Beam in the sea, so that's convenient. but tries to use metal blade or leaf shield first because you can get around most of the walls with those instead of having to go through them. Also looks like a lot of bubbles necessary to get through those crash walls.
That sound effect was interesting to say the least. I'm thinking, well, wait, he's picking up a power-up somewhere? Sound effect caught me by surprise with the randomization of the sound effect of the bubble hitting the crash block.
Yeah, that's something that we don't talk about a lot, and maybe because it only throws me off. But some of those sound effects can be pretty scary. One of the sound effects that can be used for a weapon is the Mega Man explosion sound effect when you die, and that can always be kind of freaky when you run into it.
Yeah, I'd hear that and just kind of go, well, huh? What? How did that happen? And then, you know...
Yeah, exactly. Like, it always catches you by surprise, at least the first time it happens. Apollo not having too much more trouble in Crash Man stage while Creed's going through his refights.
Oh, caught Airman looking the other way and should be able to finish this fight off now. Yep, there it goes. On to Master 4. And the quick boomerangs not really acting like boomerangs, just kind of going up and to the right and never returning.
Yeah, I think I'm also on record as saying I love the quick boomerang. It's my favorite weapon. Sometimes it's really helpful, the angle that it can go off in. It'll always go out straight, like normal, but then instead of turning around and come back, it can keep going straight, it can turn around and go up instead of coming down. It can go in like an arc. It can go in all sorts of directions, and for me personally, it's fun to see what you can do to make that useful.
All right, LVCreed with let's see, Quickman, and well, now he's on his last Robot Master.
Meanwhile, xapollo just making his way into the Wily stages now. At 35 minutes and approximately 137,000 frames. I imagine that he doesn't have background input turned off when he typed in the IRC. One of the hotkeys was pressed that brought up the frame count. And another Buster weak Wily.
Ay ay ay.
Perhaps we should have someone else generating seeds. Seems to be a Buster bias.
I wonder why.
Oh, nice. Looks like Apollo's gonna go for safety and pick up that 1-up at the beginning of Wily 1. Meanwhile, Creed making his way through... What do we call this room? Acid hallway? Drippy hallway?
I call it the final countdown.
Nice.
Just kind of listening to those, little drips hit the floor, and then, alright, now I'm up against the final boss, the alien, and, close this game out.
I see an orange body and turquoise head for the alien. I'm calling that a win.
I'll give you half credit for that.
And quick boomerang weakness for the Alien. Creed finishing up with an official SRL time of 37 minutes and 52 seconds. GG.
And with that second win here, that'll be the second game to take the match for LVCreed here. He'll be moving on to the final bracket draw, and xapollo will unfortunately be sent to the losers bracket, where he will await the winner of, let me make sure, it is Captain Bublo and Bob DeBuilder. The winner of that match will move on to face xapollo in the losers bracket, and I believe the winner of that match would also find their way into the final bracket stage as well. So I guess all that's really left to do here is cheer on Apollo here as he makes it through the Wily boards and completes a rather frustrating playthrough.
Yo.
Oh, cool. I was just about to send you an invite to get in here. We've got
security.
LVCreed here.
We have an invader here.
What's going on? Hang on, let me get a moment. I'm gonna cut stream for a little bit so I can actually hear you guys.
All right, take your time.
Cool, sure. Looks like you've also got a frame count now on LVCreed screen. Frame counts in solidarity.
Yeah, I'm playing on emulators, so I gotta show proof that I'm doing this legit.
It was just funny, I was commenting, I think that Apollo, while he was typing in the IRC, hit one of his hotkeys to activate his frame counter, so it's been off for a while.
Oh, but yeah,
what had it on the whole time. It was just kind of hiding up there in the corner, and I don't think anybody noticed it.
Yeah, it's mostly to adhere to Mega Man leaderboard standards, because you know, with emulators, you know, you got always the threat and constant scrutiny of possibly cheating or whatever have you. So at least having the frame counter up at least proves the legitimacy of what I'm doing. Oh, at least I hope it still does.
Well, you're talking to someone who used to be the head of Twin Galaxy, so I know exactly what you mean.
Looks like I'm talking to someone interesting then, eh?
No, I'm just one of those guys that kind of hide in the background. It's like, yeah, you know, we used to own Twin Galaxies and stuff happened and now we don't. So, you know, But I know exactly what it's like to make sure everything's all done on the up and up.
Right. Oh, with that out of the way, these seeds, how are they? They were kind of, yeah.
So how'd you feel about, like, everything being, like, weak to the Buster Shot?
I'm fine with it. I really don't pay no mind to things being Buster weak. I mean, it's pretty much just a consequence of the easy mode setting. Of course, the reason we're doing easy mode to begin with for this tournament is for new people to at least get adapted to what the randomizer can actually do. And even with the weakness settings, as you can see, the randomizer, depending on what the seed gives out, can be pretty unforgiving still. Crashman stage.
Oh, yeah, very true.
But yeah, about that first race, I think the first race was easily the silliest of the two. But the only reason it's really more silly than it has to be was the simple fact that I completely forgot and brain farted that I had Flash and Time Stopper for the shrimps in the moving platform room in Crashman stage. I was so determined to use Metal Blades and Lee Shields and Item 3s, and I'm so used to not having Flash for that section or having a good item one to zip through the entire section. I completely forgot I had flash until literally the last second and wasted quite a bit of time.
I was gonna ask about that, especially once it looked like Leaf Shield was also reversed. So just trying to shoot it up as we're going down the ladder, and it just looked like a mess there. I actually remember commenting, I was gonna say, like, I thought you were gonna find the flash stopper, and you just kind of brute force your way through it with the Leaf Shield, it looked like.
Yeah, it was quite a ton of stupidity on my part in that regard, but hey, I managed to figure it out eventually. Probably the biggest thing that really tripped me up in regards to actually trying to get through was the fact that one of the shrimps, I think it was the second moving platform screen, was the spawning shrimps. Because for those that don't know, there are two types of shrimps that are made into the randomizer. There are single loading shrimps that you see one shrimp and that's all there is. But there's another set of shrimps that are continuously spawning, similar to the ones you see from the anglerfish mini boss that is unfortunately not in the randomizer due to coding restraints. Unfortunately, one of the ones that had to block my way during the climb was a spawning shrimp generator. So how fun was that, trying to figure that out before I had to use time stopper, I mean.
Yeah, that
definitely
can be pretty rough
to get through that.
Yeah, aside from the fat fans being the usual trolls that they are in Heatman stage and Airman stage respectively, and some silly shenanigans like that. I don't know what kind of jump I did that Bubble Man room in a couple of cases, but overall it was still a good run. I still got a couple of sub 40s, so. But I know I can do better. I can improve. I know I'm better than this. So hopefully, as the tournament progresses, hopefully the seeds will be kinder and I can actually do what I need to do.
Well, at the same time, you got those 2 Buster Week dragons and that Leaf Shield. Like right when I was about to describe how those are 2 tilting moments to me, dying to Mecha Dragon or the Pico Pico, you got through with a Buster only Mecha Dragon and the Leaf Shield Week Pico Pico in this last seed, which is just like a runner's dream.
Dang, were both dragons weak to Buster?
Yes, they were.
Dang, they're all blurring together. I can't even remember the first dragon. I definitely know the second dragon was weak to Buster. It's all become like some kind of blended mess.
Yeah, I know.
He had dumpstered them so quick that, doesn't surprise me that you don't remember the first one being weak to whatever it was. It was there for
I'm pretty sure
3 seconds.
I thought I used metal for the first one.
You might have tried it, but it was definitely weak to Buster. And I remember because I also remarked that I always forget that things can be weak to Buster, so that's usually the last weapon I try.
You actually only used Buster on both of the dragons. Because I remember, razzing Easy Danger a little bit about that. Because you just used the Buster straight away.
Yeah.
Mercy. But I'm just glad I was able to finish these seeds as I did, so in the end, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, certainly GG's to that, and congratulations on moving on into the tournament. Even after I've expressed my frustration, you being the person who knocked me into the losers bracket as well.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all good. Congratulations, moving on. GG.
That's right. I'm here to keep them in line,
Still a lot of tournament left to go.
Yes, there is. It's gonna be interesting to see who continues on. Probably gonna need to double check on that tournament format at some point, though. But we'll leave that to here and there. No need to worry about it right now.
Yeah, leave that to the organizer. So yeah, any other feelings or impressions on these seeds or on the race?
Not right now. Honestly, I'm just kind of curious where xapollo is. I don't have stream up right now, so I don't know where he is.
He's in Boo Beam now.
Yeah, he's in the boss fight.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because Creed, you're a bit more familiar with the randomizer than either one of us. The Heatman's weapon, when it's uncharged, it has the same properties as Buster, correct?
Yes, when uncharged, he will always have similar properties to Buster. So if something's weak to Buster, if something's immune to Buster, it's probably going to be immune to the lowest level of atomic fire. So yes.
I was just wondering because Apollo just finished off Boo Beam using uncharged atomic fire shots, as opposed, and I was pretty sure that this last Boo Beam was Buster weak.
Probably the only thing I'm not 100% sure about are the properties of the second level charged heat. We know that fully charged heat is its own value. The weakest normal charge, well, the weakest heat is equivalent to Buster. The second level of charge heat is the one thing I'm really not sure is the properties of. It seems to be some other random value that I really never brought up until just now. It's something I actually should ask about.
Yeah, I was wondering about that myself, because not knowing what it is, I tend to always try to shoot I used to always try to shoot fully charged shots because I've got a Buster to shoot Buster shots, so I don't need to shoot uncharged heat, and I don't know what's going to happen if I shoot a medium charge shot. I assume that it was the same as an uncharged shot.
Now, just to throw in a quick update, xapollo's on his 4th boss fight in the Robomaster Gauntlet.
Does he have any spare E-tanks?
He's got 2, and he's got about half his energy right now. Well, a little bit more as he just finished off his 5th and got that refill.
Then I'm hoping that he should be fine. You should have, I think you should have at least 2 E-tanks by the refights, but 2 is probably the upper limit. You're probably going to be stretching it if you have 1 E-tank remaining, and you're probably going to have to rely on getting the health refills from beating the bosses. But of course, with how the bosses act, you're really not guaranteed.
Take E-tank, please.
Oh boy.
Okay. it got a little Monka-esque right as you were saying that he was getting kind of low on his 7th Robot Master, which was Quickman.
He didn't even need it. He just needed to hit Quickman one last time.
You can never.
Yeah, he didn't need to do it. He just needed to do a damageless run, and everything will be fine.
Exactly. You know, easy.
Apparently.
And he's on to the Wily Machine, which I believe was also weak to Buster in
Yes, it was.
both of these games. Take an opportunity to grab that weapon energy to refill for the alien, finding the Buster weakness and having a little trouble. And there goes the floor. So Apollo should be finishing up fairly soon. Keep an eye on the SRL. He might actually be finished. The stream is a little bit behind.
Well, it looks like it's just the last little hallway here in the final alien fight for xapollo. Was there anything you'd like to say, Creed, before looks like Apollo will be joining us in very near future?
Well, I just appreciate xapollo for being around to race with me. I know we kind of had a little bit of issues with setting up, but I'm glad he was able to get his streaming situation settled properly, and we're able to do this race. So thanks well, I'd rather thank him personally. Well, apparently is nearing completion. I could probably tell him personally.
Oh yeah, we're not exactly gonna go and kick you out of here. Just had some a little bit of time with you just by yourself here. Just figure give you one last shot to say whatever and
my lonely little lonesome.
Yeah, he's finishing up now. I found that quick man weakness to the alien, and with an official SRL time of 53 minutes 18 seconds, xapollo is done. GG.
GG indeed.
Alright, so now with both runners finished, it's now official. LVCreed takes this match 2-0 against xapollo2. LVCreed with this victory moves into the final bracket stage, and xapollo2 unfortunately moves down into the losers bracket, where he will face the winner of Captain Bublo versus Bob the Builder for a chance to make it back into the final bracket stage.
Yeah, we're about to try to get xapollo in here for an interview. I think we've got a little time while we're doing that. Feel free, please, go ahead and follow both of these runners for putting on this this excellent show we've had. It's was easy in places, rough in places, but it's always entertaining, and we appreciate both of you guys coming out and putting on this match for us.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you getting out here and jumping on stream for everybody to see. Alright, I heard the Discord ding. I think that means xapollo is showing up in the commentary box here.
Yep, I'm here.
Yo, xapollo, what's up?
Welcome.
Oh man, that seed. Whew.
Yeah, these were a couple of silly seeds this time around.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it looked like he has some trouble, particularly in Heatman stage.
Yeah, it was really weird because I'm usually pretty decent at Heatman, but I think it was just a mixture of the shrimp being immune to Buster, and then the frogs being immune to everything else. It was crazy. I haven't had a seed that was that difficult in quite a while.
Yeah, Buster immune shrimp are always a pain, especially when you've got those platform heavy sections. And both of you guys took a early death in that stage, and I think in Airman stage to those fan guys right before those pits.
That's the thing about Fat Fans. You never know when they're gonna appear, and when they do appear, they're usually in pits. And you really have little time to try to recover whenever you see them there. So it's almost like an automatic death whenever you try to make a jump.
Yeah, I was raging pretty hard on Airman stage. I'd actually jumped and went to pause buffer, but I hit my fire button as I was going for my start button to pause buffer. And
oh yeah,
you can't pause buffer on Mega Man 2 if there's something that you've shot in the air. So here, that's. I honestly, I was sitting here. I was like, man, do I even want to finish right now? It was really because I didn't know where he was at. I'm just like, oh man, I'm like already 5 minutes behind my PB. I don't think that I'm going to catch up. And it was just death after death. I think I game over 2 or 3 times. It was pretty it was miserable there for a while, but the Wily stages went great.
Yeah, you blew through those pretty much. We
Yeah,
didn't
you
really have
recovered
much
real
time
well
to
after that stage.
It was just those couple of spots that seemed to really be giving you trouble. Like I think we've all been in that scenario. Like we were just hoping that you went ahead and finished. We could see you getting tilted on that stage, and didn't want you to. I didn't want to see that guy forfeit.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was like, I think I waited like 500 or 600 frames there, and I was like, all right, I need to take a breather for a second. I need to just kind of calm down a little bit. Stop smashing my controller against the desk, and just like, all right, let's finish this race. It's a tournament.
Yeah, I sort of figured, I'm like, he's either pulling his controller out of the wall as he just, implanted it into the wall, or he's trying to reassemble it as he just kind of gorilla smashed it somewhere, right in his lap or whatever. And I'm going, oh no. I mean, if I
don't want to do that, because then you have to switch the keyboard in the middle of a race, and nobody wants that.
Yeah,
very true.
I actually hit my chair. I usually don't do this stuff. Like, I usually don't get so frustrated where I actually hit stuff in games. And I smacked my chair with my right hand, and my controller flew out of my left hand. It was on the floor. I'm like, okay, all right, let's not do this. The wire for my controller is on its last legs, so it doesn't need to be thrown across the room.
That sounds like me playing, well, just about any game ever. I go from 0 to about a 25, and on a scale of 1 to 10 on how salty and baby rage I am when I start losing.
So if I ever am in a match with you, all I have to do is not destroy my controller, and I have a decent chance of winning.
You're probably right.
Yeah, just absolutely let me go full tilt mode and just, just try to keep it even keeled and let me self-destruct.
Yeah, that's kind of the nature of the randomizer. You, like you said, you never know what you're gonna get. You might end up, or you're almost certainly gonna end up with a surprise crab or surprise shrimp or surprise chicken or surprise fat fan in front of whatever pit you're in, and you just gotta deal with it. You gotta find a way to adapt, have that pause buffer at the ready, or hopefully get that shot off before everything goes awry. It's
yeah, the
tough,
chickens were actually pretty nice.
Fair?
Yeah, I don't want to say that the randomizer's fair, but I think that because you'll have chickens that are like eight shots and not immune to anything else, or it's just but that's the nature of the randomizer. You'll have stuff like that, and it's definitely it's a big spag.
Yeah, exactly. By pretty much by definition, that's how it ends up going. So yeah, in general, just any other thoughts on your time in the tournament, the seeds in general?
I was disappointed that they were both crash item 1, but on the second one, when I got item 1, I realized it's worthless anyways unless you're Kumba.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a horrible seed. I think it was just one of those things. It's a learning experience where you're you're trying to get through it to learn, and Kumba Cammy, he kind of gave me some words of encouragement in the IRC while I was going. I was very, really close to quitting, and but I golded on my boo beams. I guess that's something, right?
Nice.
That is something. I always say, if you can, if you don't win the race or you don't get your PB or whatever, as long as you can do one thing that you've never done before, or get one strat down, or get one glide, then it's a success in my book.
I definitely agree.
And I've lost a lot of races.
I lose just about everyone to Squid. I had one seed where I was really close, but he knows all the zips, so the zips definitely zips and good movement is one of those things that you almost have to have. I guess that's pretty much it.
Yeah, the zips can make a difference. Movement probably makes a bigger difference than the zips, especially since you never know when you're going to be able to make them, or you never know when you're going to get the items to be able to do them. But yeah, GG to both of you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for putting us up on the Speed Gaming channel.
Now, I have one quick question, if you guys don't mind. Do you usually keep the stages where you can utilize the zips until there's a good chance you already have the items? Like, do you route specific stages before others?
Yeah, for the most, I know I especially do. I try whenever I get an item, a specific item that pretty much in terms of what I'm thinking, it quote unquote unlocks certain stages for me to actually try to attempt. Like if I get item too early, it gives me a chance to try to free fly in Airman stage or go to Metal Man stage if I don't have like item 1 available as well. Speaking of item 1, if I get item 1 early, that may trigger me to try to check it out in other stages like Bubble, Battle, or Crash, especially Crash, since you're probably going to be trying to do item 1 zips in Crash stage to try to get by the moving platform sections with what have been pretty helpful these 2 seeds, might I add.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way.
So yeah, there's quite a bit of planning and on-the-fly routing depending on how soon you get your items.
Yeah, what I do for mine is I generally I save Crash for last unless I somehow get item 1 really early. Even if I do though, a lot of times I wait because the climb, if I run out of item 1 or whatever, failing on the zip, or item 1's not usable for me, what I'll do is I'll wait till the end so that I at least have like Metal Blade or the Leaf Shield to kind of mitigate some of those possibilities of getting shrimp on those ladders, because those are really the run killers right there. I mean, you could sit there and you're gonna have to game over because you just can't get past them.
Sure,
I mean,
Cap didn't help me during the first seed. I had Metal Blades and Leaf Shield for the shrimps in the first seed. Did not help me one little bit.
Right. Yeah, it's really kind of there's a science and an elegance to going up the climb on Randomizer on certain seeds, where you'll have to climb the ladder during the screen transition. You'll have to have Leaf Shield on. You'll have to smash your fire button just so that you can get it in time to hit that first shrimp. Mostly it's shrimp that are the pains. You know, you can usually get up the ladder if it's frogs or something like that, but I would say that 9 times out of 10 on the climb it's shrimps.
Yeah, shrimps are, well, depends on a lot of things. And again, that's the nature of the randomizer. You get all your weapons ticking off of frogs and you might be in trouble as well.
Yeah, that was another brutal Crash stage enemy, having the frogs just, oh, well, we're just going to throw 10 frogs. Have fun. You know, an hour later when you finally get to the top of the screen, you know.
Right.
Oh, you get to do it all over again.
9 baby frogs and 3 big frogs. It's just a lag fest. I mean, I think my frames went down to probably 5 FPS that whole part of there. And, you know, I mean, these games run at 29 or whatever it is. So it takes quite a while, especially if you don't have really a usable item to help you get through the ladder part. You're just sitting there hoping that you're not losing too much time, you know, depending on what items you got on the way up there.
It's basically almost telling you that the game is not quite specifically made to have those many sprites on screen. Maybe kind of, sort of.
Well, 3 or more is pushing it. I mean, even on vanilla. I mean, it's on any Mega Man game, really, that was on the NES. If you had more than a certain amount of sprites on the scene, you got a lot of slowdowns. Mega Man 3 is especially notorious for that.
Yeah, I always looked at it like that was the game's limitations helping you out. Like, there's too much stuff on screen, there's too much stuff to dodge. We're just going to go into bullet time for a minute for you to be able to catch up. But, of course, in these randomizers, it tends not to be helpful usually.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to be going into bullet time when the object of the game is to go fast. I want
Exactly.
Rick Bobby time, not bullet time.
Exactly. So yeah, that's about all I got though. Again, GG guys, please follow these runners. Appreciate you guys putting on the show.
Anytime.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Well, congratulations to you, LVCreed, as you get to move on to that final bracket stage.
Thank you.
And good luck
Apollo's
to you,
not out of
Apollo.
the tournament yet either.
Yeah, good luck in your next run. Hopefully you can take down whoever it is that you're up against and find your way back into that final bracket stage. Serve up a little dish of revenge on Creed if you catch him again.
So, I guess this puts me into the losers bracket, right? And then we'll meet up at the end if I make it through. I guess I'll have to check with Charlie on that one for sure, but
I think this first stage, it looks like it's just a matter of trying to get 4 people out of every group and eliminate the bottom 3, and then I think the final bracket stage. Now, don't quote me on this. I could be wrong. But it looks like, everybody goes back into the winner's bracket for the final bracket phase.
okay.
We figured it out.
Yeah, I'm really excited though to watch you guys. Want to actually watch you guys continue on with this tournament.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Nobody's out of it yet. We're gonna have the chance to see both you guys continue on and hopefully have success going further, and hopefully also just having some fun. Bottom line, that's what it's all about, right?
Of course.
Yep, exactly. Good race, Creed. Appreciate you working with your time slots and stuff for me. I know that it was pretty last minute and kind of early, so.
Yeah, I'm just glad you were able to actually race. I heard you had quite a bit of trouble setting up.
Yeah, I had a ghost instance of myself in the IRC channel, and I could not log in.
It's always that.
It was interesting. Out of the last 6 months, I've never had that, and of course, the night where I actually need to log in, because I'll run a race. I'll run a race with the guys or whatever, and if I miss the thing, I'll start late or whatever, and it's not a big deal. But tonight, I actually needed to get on the IRC channel. It just would not work. I tried to log in with LiveSplit. LiveSplit wouldn't actually load the IRC channel. So it was just it was a mess. But we got it done, and we finished before midnight, I think, right? Well, my time.
Yeah, we pretty much did good on time.
Well, I'm on the East Coast, and it's 12:20 a.m. right now, and we had you in for the interview at 12:03, I believe.
Right, so not too bad.
You got both of these games in within, fundamentally a 2-hour block, so at this point it's all gravy, and we can, if we think we're all done here, we can say our goodbyes and go from there, or if you think there's something else we need to say, we can keep going. Not exactly anybody knocking on the door saying, hey, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Oh no, go ahead, Danger.
I was gonna say we can go ahead and get in all the thank yous. Thank you to the organizer, Charlie Boy. Thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting us and letting us present on the channel. Thank you to everybody in chat for showing up and hopefully having a good time hanging out. Thank you to both you guys, LVCreed and Apollo, for the show, and thank you, Frico, for having me with you here on commentary and for commentating with me.
Yeah, hopefully I wasn't too much dead weight for you to carry around.
No, that's right. And I think that's about it from me. Follow the runners, please. They deserve to get your follow. Follow Frico. Follow Speed Gaming, I guess, if you weren't already. I don't know how you got here otherwise.
Follow everybody.
And yeah, that's it from me.
I don't know. You might want to follow that Easy Danger guy too.
I mean, if you like games that have beams or busters in it, then maybe.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks a lot for having me. Again, Creed, good race. I'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah, likewise.
Take it easy.
Thanks.
Yeah, have a good night.
Yeah, GG, fellas.
You too.